May 1st at 12:01 a.m., we will know if there will be an extension period on negotiations or if there will be a strike. The WGA negotiations, the potential strike, and what that means for us actors. Hi there, Jodie Bentley here, actor and branding and career coach for actors. And today I want to talk about the WGA negotiations, the potential strike, and what that means for us actors. All right, so currently, as of March 20th, the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, is in negotiations with the AMPTP, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. So they are working on establishing their new contract. Now look, all of this streaming stuff that has happened, right? There needs to be new residual compensation for that. And that's really what we get to figure out in these negotiations. I say we, because I'm part of SAG-AFTRA, and we really get to think of the sister unions, the WGA, the DGA, and SAG-AFTRA. They're starting the negotiations, right? Their negotiations started March 20th. On June the 30th, the DGA and SAG-AFTRA, they're going to begin negotiations. So the WGA is paving the way for us. So what happens with them will have a whole trickle-down effect in all these other negotiations. That is why I believe in solidarity. That's why I believe in the sister unionhood, that we all stand together. Now, their negotiating period is through May 1st at 12:01 a.m. If there has not been a negotiation that is acceptable on both sides by that time, and an extension to negotiate has not been put in place, then a strike will happen. So they could extend the negotiation period by 1 week, 2 weeks, whatever it may be, right? And we could still stave off a strike. So we will see. We can't be in control of that. We get to see how both parties come to the table. But on May 1st at 12:01 a.m., we will know if there will be an extension period on negotiations or if there will be a strike. So what does this mean for us? What does this mean for us actors? Well, the WGA strike has a more direct effect on television than it does film. Now, if films have been written, they're in the can, they're about to go into production, great. The writer's not going to be on set. They will move forward and shoot. That has happened with major studio films. But television, there's the writer's room. They're on set. They're there. They're changing lines on set. So to move forward without the writers, regardless, I think will have an effect on things, right? But television is nearly impossible to do that. So that's why it has a much more direct effect on TV. Now we're talking about sister unions. I've been talking about this with my husband, right? Even if they do have scripts in the can and they do want to shoot them, directors will have to cross picket lines. Actors will have to cross picket lines. So we get to think about that as work is being done now, right? We saw that in 2007, 2008. A lot of people did cross the picket line at that point, and it just weakens the negotiations. So, in terms of commercials, if things aren't written, right, we got to see how things develop in all the areas. But we know that it's really going to be affecting television and it can be affecting film. Now, a lot of studios have been shelving projects, production companies have been shelving products for purely financial reasons right now and to be cautious because of this writer's strike that's coming. So that's why we feel a slowness in the industry. That's why the past few weeks auditions have been really slow. Even my manager sent an email out saying this is the slowest time, even compared to the beginning of COVID. It is slower now than the beginning of COVID with the amount of productions that are being produced. So what we feel right now is a slowdown in the industry because we're sort of hunkering down, waiting to see what happens. So that's why we might feel auditions are slow. I have a lot of clients saying, I just signed with this manager and I've only had 2 auditions in a month. Yeah, it's just a slow time. So I just wanted to give you a little understanding of what's happening, a little time frame of what's happening. Now, if, say, May 1st, the strike does indeed ensue. Well, the 2007-2008 strike did last for 100 days. So not saying that could happen again. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But I just want you to be aware that this could be something that could go on through the summer. So what does that mean for us? Well, again, number one, we get to stand in solidarity with our unions because our negotiations are coming up, and what they're going to do is going to directly affect us. And we know it's going to be a slow time. We feel it's going to be a slow time. So I invite you to not stress about it, resist it, get angry about it. It's part of the process. It's part of the process of doing business. It's part of the process of being in unions and negotiating and getting, as the labor unions, getting our fair share of the profits of all these programs that are on streaming services. That's really what we're continually fighting for here. So what can you do? You might have heard me say this in some other places as well, but I really invite you to write a list of all the projects you've been wanting to do and maybe not have the time to do, the space to do, the mental space to do, because auditions were coming in, or trying to balance everything as an artist can be challenging. So have you been wanting to write a short film? Have you been wanting to put down on tape 3 self-tape clips that your team could pitch, right? Or that you could put on Actors Access to pitch and sell yourself? Have you been wanting to organize your office? Have you been wanting to organize your computer? And that's not really creative, but like, what creative things? I'm planning on doing a lifestyle shoot. Maybe you wanted to get your headshots prepped because you really want to be ready to get those done and you haven't had the space and time to do it. What have you been putting off? What have you been putting on the back burner? Systemizing things in your business, having relationship follow-up, working on your brand. That's why a lot of people just joined my Actors Think Tank membership to start working on their brand and their packaging during this time. So yeah, it's a little scary. I get it. And we can't change it. So let's not try to control something we can't control when all of this will only be of benefit to the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. So we get to remember and look at the bigger picture of what this is for, because it will only benefit us actors on the back end of it. And what is 2 or 3 months right now in the grand scheme of our careers? So let's just look at it that way. So again, get in that class you wanted to get in. Do something creatively, organizationally, business-wise that you've always wanted to do and haven't had the space to do. And I invite you to stay up on the news, stay up on the trades, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline, whichever one you like. They're all going to be reporting similar things. But just stay on top of what is happening. Be in the know. Because again, these are our sister unions. And if you're non-union watching this right now, I feel like you might be like, well, it's not applicable to me. I thought the same thing back in the day. And I was mistaken. So I just really invite you to look at the bigger picture, especially if TV and film is your goal, right? Like I get you might be doing non-union film or non-union commercials now, but if you want to be working on television, that's going to be union stuff. So pay attention. Be in the know and pay attention. Post any questions that you have here. I'm doing my best to stay on top of everything. Granted, I don't know everything. I'm not an expert on negotiations or contracts or anything like that. I'm not pretending to be. I just want you to sort of understand what's going on in our industry right now, what's going on and how can it affect you and why does it affect you. So post any questions that you do have. I hope this video is helpful just to sort of understand what's going on and how things are working. All right, let me know what you think below, and I'll see you later. Bye.